is a member of the MiceChat Podcast Network, MicePod.com. Now, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken
Craig, was that you sighing on behalf of Paul?
If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
Tumbleweed. Well, that is a good introduction as ever I've heard. Hello and welcome to DisAfterDark episode something or other. I am Nick.
I'm Paul. I'm the only Paul. Hey, that's a unique experience.
I'm Craig.
Craig is back. I'm back. Yes, as you heard from Mr. D. Tonight we only have one Paul. It wasn't that Mr. Dunn has become a Highlander. Of course, he could be a Highlander from where he's from. Actually, off the other one. The other one is just unavailable. He may pop up later on. We don't know for sure.
He has chronic diarrhea.
But I mean, people say he has chronic verbal diarrhea. So you mean the regular kind of diarrhea?
His bottom is like the Japanese flag, yes.
That's the one. So he may pop in a little bit later on to Mel's head, but if not, it'll just be the three of us. So, of course, we will sigh constantly throughout the show, so his presence isn't missed as much as usual. But yeah, so DisAfterDark, I suppose I should start off in the traditional way. Boys, what are we drinking?
Okay, I'll go first. I got Hooper's Alcoholic. Hooper's Alcoholic Dandelion and Burdock. Maybe I shouldn't have said the name. I'm advertising there, but we are available. So I don't know the Disney connection.
What's the percentage on that?
4%.
Oh, actually, I'm quite. Is it sweet?
Hang on. Oh, it's like medicine.
Ooh.
Oh, it's like cough medicine. Chuffing heck.
Well, enjoy that.
Okay,
what are you on, Nick?
I wish I hadn't bought 4 cases of that.
I have just got a standard bottle of Coors Light. Just trying to go through the old stock. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm on tap water still. Sorry.
You're looking great, Craig, so don't worry about it. It's completely natural.
Yeah,
you're doing what you're doing. So.
Slimming World Update.
What are we down to?
I've now lost.
Organisations are available.
But they're rubbish. I've lost 3 stone 10 now since April.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
That's 3 stone 10. That's like a child, isn't it?
That is like a child. That is off like a child.
Arse. I've lost a child off my arse.
An interesting turn of phrase. And of course, if there are other interesting turns of phrases, people can let us know what they are by visiting our website, which is www.disafterdark.com, or they can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
And we are, of course, available on other forms of social media. We're on Twitter as DisAfterDark, Facebook.com/DisAfterDark, and I think that's it, really.
Yeah, we don't really bother with anything else. They're all there, but we don't monitor them.
Yeah, we do bits and pieces, but probably not as much as we should do. Yeah. And of course, a member of the MicePod network, the greatest podcasting network there is, despite what anyone else will tell you. And we'll be there forever, going nowhere fast. So, Craig has been away, as you may have gathered, for the last few weeks, or last few episodes. Well, actually, technically, we were all away for the last few episodes, but Craig in particular has not been on for a while. And we especially been looking forward to this episode of the show for a while now, because Craig, as you may have seen from his updates, has been in our other home of Orlando, Walt Disney World. And so a lot of exciting things happened, or it appeared to at least happen while he was out there. And absolutely clamping at the bit to find out exactly what has been going on. So, without further ado, Craig.
Hello.
So, this is an old school trip report. You know, British Disney podcast listeners will know all about trip reports because some shows lived and died by their trip reports. We don't have them enough, but when one of our own hosts goes away, very important.
Well, we went out. We had how many days? 18 days over there. 2.5 weeks. We flew out to Manchester, Virgin, which was brilliant.
Never been a Virgin in Manchester. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, plane.
Yeah,
right, sorry.
Yeah.
And then we stayed. It was a big group. There was 9 of us in total. 6 adults, 2 pensioners, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, me and my wife, and then there was 3 kids, my 2 girls, Eve 11, Grace 6, and then my little nephew Jack, who was 5. So we had 3 cars, and we stayed in, get your pen and paper, a villa in Clermont. And the website for that villa is yourluxuryvilla.com. And it was a 5-bedroom villa. And for the 2.5 weeks, I won't give you the price, but it was a very, very reasonable price. 60-inch telly, all that, lovely barbecue, big pool. And it's the 3rd time we've stayed in that villa, and we'll stay in it again. Thank you very much, Morag and
so
Alan.
What was the what kind of distance are we talking from the parks?
Right, well, you're on 27, so you turn left onto 27, you go up 27 for a mile, and then you hit the 192, and you dribble down the 192, depending on the traffic light situation. You can be at Disney in 10 minutes, or you can be in Disney in 25 minutes.
Okay.
Pretty close.
So it's about, I'm making it up, Alan will know better because he obviously owns the villa, but must have been about, is it 7 or 8 miles, something like that, 10 miles maybe. But it was quite quick, yeah.
Did you visit the other parks as well?
Yes, we went and stayed in the Hard Rock Hotel for 2 nights.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Blimey, someone has been paid well this year.
Yeah. And that was, as it usually is, the Hard Rock Hotel's basically the best one, location-wise for Universal, because you're right on the doorstep. It's a 5-minute walk. So, yeah, that's where we stayed. That was where our accommodation was.
Wow.
We did Busch Gardens for the first time ever. We spent a full good 10-12 hours there. It's vast. We went on we did the cheetah run, and what I found from Busch Gardens compared to the anal retentedness of cast members at Walt Disney World now, I found Busch Gardens refreshingly relaxed. You know, the first ride we did of the whole holiday was a cheetah run, and as we're walking in, it was brilliant. It was absolutely phenomenal. The father-in-law's coming in with us. He's disabled with a plastic knee and needs a new knee. And the fella on the door seeing him and said, "Have you got a disability card? Hold on a minute," and just wrote one out.
Wow.
And just said, "Show that on every ride. If the queue is less than 30 minutes, they'll just let you on. If it's not, they'll write down a time for you to come back." And we didn't have to use the card once, basically. They just let us in. When they seen them, they just let us in on every ride. It was very, very relaxed. And we went on that Falcon's Fury, which was literally a 2-minute wait to get on it. You think it's a brand new ride, it's the flagship and all this, and they're going to be queuing up round. You know, if it was Harry Potter, they'd be queuing up round everywhere. We literally walked on it. Brilliant. And it tips you off. You're right up there, however high it is, and it tips you, and the only thing that is holding you is your harness. and you can just feel yourself bearing down on it, and then it drops you. Boom.
Wow, 2 minute queue. Who would have thought a ride that has that kind of description only had a 2 minute queue?
I know. It's phenomenal.
So like everyone was too scared to go on it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is Bush still owned by Anheuser-Busch? Is it Anheuser-Busch? The brewery.
Got no idea.
Because I mean, they obviously operated SeaWorld as well.
I thought it might have been Basil, but
Basil Bush.
Basil Bush.
boom, boom.
Oh dear. Well, to be fair, we do very often talk about our tenuous links on this show. That's got to be up there with the worst. But you'd recommend it because I mean, Busch Gardens. What about an hour and a bit drive?
Yeah, it was an hour and a bit drive. Yeah, it's worth the drive, definitely. And bearing in mind we're there the last 2 weeks in August, so the crowds weren't excessive. We were stuck. We got stranded in there for about an hour in one of the famous torrential downpours. And basically the park just emptied. And after the rain, it was almost empty. And the kids went and spent a good hour and a half in Sesame Street, going on all that.
You don't. I just have this vision of it raining down while you're in like the Africa section of Busch Gardens. And they just play on a loop. Africa by Toto.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Oh, well, that's now a park I need to go to because there's nothing I enjoy more in life than Africa by Toto. So that's Busch Garden. And you said you stayed at the Hard Rock as well.
Yeah, we did SeaWorld as well. We broke into we did one of the boat tours on the first day, actually, the day before Busch Gardens, you know, where you go out into the Everglades and all that. And we see
on the Keys, okay.
Yeah.
One of the fan boats.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll look it up and put it in the show notes. It was absolutely brilliant. We seen real alligators in alligator nests, and it was just a totally different experience to anything that we've ever done.
Well, that's the real Florida, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
How far away was that, Craig?
It was actually in Kissimmee.
Right.
There's a great big. I need to do some geography. There's a great big lake there, and it was all swampland as well. Yeah, it was cracking. It was absolutely cracking. The wildlife was phenomenal, and when he opens one of them boats up, you've got to have your glasses on because you get a face full of whatever insects all over you. But as you're going through, there was like big swarms of crickets just jumping all over you. The kids were semi-hysterical, but it was brilliant.
Well, we know all about the noise of crickets on this show.
Yeah.
You can hear them again right now.
SeaWorld.
Yes, SeaWorld.
Yeah, it was just meh.
Did you see the Shamu show?
Yeah, it was rubbish. I don't know if the whales weren't conforming. They weren't doing what they were told, but we sat in the splash zone and we basically didn't get splashed. You know, it was flat. Do you know what I mean? It was literally flat. And we didn't go and look at any other animals. We just went on the rides and then went home.
Yeah.
And there was a group of disabled children in from New York, and they had got on. What's the big coaster there?
Manta.
Not Manta, the other one.
Can't remember what it's called now.
But the feet drop away from it. So they got all the kids loaded in, and off they went. And we're in the queue. And when they come back, one of them had thrown up protein spill, and it was heartbreaking watching him because he was mortified that he'd been sick, and everyone else is cheering and clapping him. Everyone in the queue's cheering and clapping him when he got off. But the fans are there to keep you cool. But the fans are also blowing the smell of vomit at you, and it was like And then there was, as he cleaned it up, a tribe of like 20 people just pounced on it and cleaned it up everywhere. Then it was the smell of disinfectant. It was just blowing at you. So that wasn't a very enjoyable ride because we got on the same vehicle, sitting behind, in the seats behind where the protein spill had been. So I was picking it out of my hair and everything.
I still have a soft spot for SeaWorld. You know, we've talked about Blackfish, and we've also talked to people that have said it's not all it cracked up to be. But yeah, I have a soft spot for it. I mean, it's like Animal Kingdom. It's a one-day park, innit? Let's be honest. But
yeah,
you know,
yeah, it definitely was a one-day park. Yeah.
But it's good. Yeah, we've enjoyed it.
And then, like, I think the first day we did was Animal Kingdom.
Well, you get it out of the way.
Yeah, because that is. I mean, we did the safari. That was on the safari. That's where my sister-in-law seen a unicorn. Is that a unicorn there? I literally stopped everyone in their tracks on the.
It's an African unicorn.
Yeah,
it's got bigger ears.
I've never heard nothing like it. Everyone was howling.
Oh, that's amazing. What was it? A bat?
It was a thing. It was an animal with legs and horns, but whatever, a unicorn. So that's just as it always is. There was boards up everywhere, for all the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
But again, that wasn't a full day park. That was a half day park. That at best.
Yeah, I like Animal Kingdom though.
Yeah, I like it, but yeah, I mean the thing is, until Avatar, it's a one day park at best, and I'm not even convinced when Avatar comes in it's going to be more than a one day park. I still think it'll be a one and done as well.
Yeah, well, they're going to have that nighttime show, aren't they?
Yeah, the way that's where all round the lagoon and everywhere is all boarded up and drained and everything, where they're getting ready for it.
Yeah.
It will be spectacular, but at the moment it's a bit of a meh. And then the Magic Kingdom, when we hit the Magic Kingdom, that's it's brilliant, but the staff there now, the cast members, they're so, I don't know, they're so far, all their spontaneity's gone out of them. It's all the one example where I flipped my lid in our Facebook group was Be Our Guest. You make an ADR 180 days out, and it says on it, be there 15 minutes in advance. So you get in the queue to check in 15 minutes, and by the time you get to the front, it's 11 minutes to go. So you've only queued for 4 minutes, and the cast member, instead of going, yeah, okay, just go in now, blah, 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 you'll have to come back in 6 minutes. It wasn't 7 minutes or 5 minutes. It was 6 minutes. And so I said to her, so you tell me I've got to now just come out the queue and walk back to the back of the queue? And she basically went, yeah. So it did. And
now, the thing is as well, she should have realised, she must get enough English people over there that we don't like queuing.
It's just so... I mean, I know our friend who's the cast member, she basically explained that the general public are, the greatest pins in the cushion, and they've been advised to take everything away and not make any more moments, or she was a new cast member or whatever. But there was just little things like that all the time throughout the day, and that made me just flip my lid, and I put what I put in. And who knew that we had real Disney fans in our Facebook group who don't like the old F-bomb every so often.
Yeah, it was really funny. Why they were there in the first place, God only knows. They've obviously never listened to the show.
Exactly.
But, no, that's it. I mean, the thing is, we do have a few people that we know, listen to the show and have, either guested or got in touch before. Caitlin being one of those. And I mean, the thing is, she very much prides herself on that kind of Disney spirit. the stuff that you're talking about before. And I think the most heartbreaking thing for me is that, you know, we haven't been able to go back since 2010. That was the last time we went. And, you know, we're already discussing when we're going to go with the kids, and we're looking at a few years' time when they're, you know, slightly older, so they're going to get a bit more out of it, and everything like that. And, you know, the more I hear from people going out there is the changes, and they're the things that you're talking about are the things that make it so special. And it does appear that there's some kind of breakdown in that nowadays for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just general.
There was moments of pure Disney magic. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the night we had in Epcot, we were shooting a video of drinking around the world with Carla and Phil, and we got to Italy, and some of the group had gone ahead to America. We get to Italy, and the heavens opened, and I mean, the lightning was in the park. You could see the lightning, smashing down. It was torrential, and we're stuck in the little Italian pavilion where you can go in and buy all the nice wine. And we says to the staff in there, look, we've got an ADR in 20 minutes in the Rose and Crown. Can you ring them and tell them that we're here and we're stranded? And she literally gave us a map and said, there's the number, you ring it yourself. And it was WDW Dine. So when I rang it, it was like a 30-minute wait to get through.
Yeah.
So we ran to the American pavilion and said the exact same thing to a cast member in there. And off he goes. And he comes back 5 minutes later. He said, I've rang the Rose and Crown. They know you're on the way. They're going to hold your table for you. So two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
One group of cast members literally couldn't give a shit, and then the other cast member went above and beyond, and sorted it out. And then when we get there eventually, one of the cast members, one of the waitresses comes and says to the two youngest in the group, "Can you come out? Mickey Mouse has been on the phone. We need somebody to start the fireworks tonight. Give them a crown each, give them a sash each, and give them a wand each." And it took them out, and it was all time and lights for the fireworks, and they waved the magic wands and chanted about pixie dust, and the fireworks exploded just with there, and that was magic. It was phenomenal. It was brilliant. So.
Yeah. And it's those kind of things that make holidays, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like everything else, I guess. I mean, they got so many cast members, Yeah, you're gonna get the odd ones that are having a bad day or just don't kind of get it, but it's just a job for them. But
going right back to the day we did SeaWorld, we went in the evening to the Contemporary, and we went and did the Pirates firework party. It's not called that; it's called something else. But what a fantastic event that was. Basically what you do is you go in, you'd have drinks, snacks, all sweets, cakes, everything like that. Then you meet Captain Hook and Smee, and the whole event is hosted by these two pirates, and they split you into two boats, and you march off. And again, our Grace got picked to go to the front, and she was a flag bearer. She's beaming her face off as she leads our group out to our boat. And then you go out onto the lake in this little boat with your pirate, and you watch Swishes from there. But while you're going out there, he's basically a stand-up comedian, and he was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. The audience participation was phenomenal. He had me and my wife up dancing and all this. And then when you come back after the fireworks, Peter Pan's waiting for you. And you go and meet Peter Pan then, and you get to meet, and then off you go. Absolutely brilliant event.
See, I want to do this.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do now, 32 years old.
Well, and then, you go to the animal kingdom, you see unicorns. I mean, it's just magic.
Yeah, that's it. Forget a few dodgy cast members.
Yeah, it's only one or two. They're playing a part. They're Disney villains. That's what it is, really.
Yeah, maybe.
They're in character.
The thing is, I suppose it's like anywhere. You know, I think we've all been places, whether that's shops or other theme parks or anything like that, where you do get a few people that just couldn't give two shits. Full stop.
Yeah. Do you know what I think though? What I think is it's more of a shock at Disney when it happens.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's it. I think the thing is, I mean, I certainly, you know, both times that we went, I think we may have had a couple of occasions where the cast members weren't quite full of the magic, I'd say. But on the whole, you know, everyone was really friendly, sometimes a little over friendly, a little bit too energetic, but you'd rather have that than someone miserable. But like you say, the thing is, there is definitely an expectation, and it does appear that, you know, you're getting fewer and fewer of those. Is it because of what they're being asked to do? See, the thing is, when you hear from people that we know work there, the impression you get from when you speak to them is no, they're, you know, under the same kind of, you know, it's a magical place, you know, Disney magical, that kind of stuff. So that would give you the impression that actually, no, they're still taught the same ways they always have been.
Yeah.
Could it be down to the long hours they have to work and the low pay? Possibly, because that doesn't seem to improve. You know, that kind of thing seems to get, you know, bigger and bigger.
Well, I read today that they employ 69,000 people there. So you are going to get some balloon heads, aren't you?
I think that's what it is, Craig. I mean, you think on a holiday, you know, you probably. I mean, when we go, we normally stay on site, so we're spending a lot of time on Disney property, talking to lots of different cast members, not just in the parks, but restaurants, downtown Disney, the water parks. You know, hundreds in a holiday, and I'd say, you know, on your average holiday, we've maybe had 2 or 3 cast members that have been a bit off. You know, we've had a couple, but then for the 2 or 3 that have been a bit off, we've probably had 2 or 3 a day that have been really good in some way or other. So I still think they're above, you know, way above average. But yeah, you can have a couple of bad ones, and when you have a bad one, you think, wow, it's such a shock compared to what you normally get.
Definitely
it kind of sticks in your memory. Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Greg.
No, well, I was just going to say, going back to Animal Kingdom on day one, we goes into guest services to get my father-in-law his disabled badge thing, whatever it's called, guest assistance card. And the member of staff come out, and we said, you know, we can't stand for any length of time. He's got one of the chairs, and he just took out the wind out of our sails. He was brilliant in how he dealt with it. He must have to deal with it 1,000 times a day. He just basically said he's not entitled to one. All our rides throughout Walt Disney World are wheelchair accessible. That guest assistance card is for people who have different needs, and your father-in-law doesn't meet the criteria anymore.
Well,
whereas in 2012 he was able to get a paper card and or a card even, and it was.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so
they did tighten up on that though, didn't they? About 2 years ago.
So it's
because people were abusing it basically. I mean, you know, obviously your father-in-law not, but you know, younger, healthy people were abusing it.
Well, as a whole, he didn't. You know, it wasn't needed because he literally was able to take the ECB through most of the queues, and the ones he couldn't get through, they actually walk you around to the exit and just put you on the ride.
Yeah.
You know, so...
But then that works. Do you know what I mean? Like, the thing is, if you'd have just turned around there and said, and so because of that, the holiday was spoiled because there was rides we couldn't go on, and there was times we had to leave because it was standing around for too long. What you kind of proved there is that, you know, although there's been a lot of people being negative about that particular scheme and how it's changed, you've just proved there that actually they've made that decision on that type of disability, that type of requirement, taking that away, and actually it's not hindered your holiday at all.
No.
So they were right to do so.
Yeah.
So we proved, that it works.
That's good.
So what else?
Just going back to cast members though, and that. I mean, even thinking outside of the parks, I've seen recently in the UK a lot of people complain about staff at one of my local Disney stores. Now, I've never had a problem with them myself, but other people have said they've been quite rude and not very attentive and not very excitable, not very enthusiastic, and I've seen that sometimes, and I kind of get what they're saying. And then you get to other stores and you get phenomenal people. Somebody who I've become quite good friends with, a guy called Ash. So if you're listening, hi Ash. He works as a cast member at Oxford Street, it's like the flagship, and he's phenomenal. We went to the Cinderella exhibition. They were holding up at Leicester Square when the film came out, where you could see all the props and whatnot. And he was in there. I didn't know he was in there at the time, but he was in there doing the first room as you went in, and had to do like a 2 to 3 minute speech about the history of Cinderella before you moved on to the next room. Now we got there at 6 o'clock. That was our slot in the evening, and he almost brought Lindsay to tears because of how enthusiastic he was about the film, and you could really feel the passion in what he was saying. And I had a word with him after and said, it's 6 o'clock now, how many hours have you been doing it? And he was like, since 9 o'clock this morning. And he had to do that same thing every 3 to 4 minutes when a new room of people came flooding in. And yet, at 6 o'clock at night, you would have thought that was the first people he'd seen all day.
Yeah.
And that kind of shows, that's somebody who loves the job and loves being a part of the Disney company that much that, so I guess what I'm saying is that it's not always about, how much you're being paid to do a job. It's how much you actually want to be doing that job. Yeah. And I think that comes into it as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've gone off topic.
That's all right.
No, it's all valid.
Yeah. So tell us more, Craig.
Well, I mean, going to Universal just seemed to just smash it. Last year I was quite critical of Universal. Yeah, but this time round, they let us into the park early. Diagon Alley wasn't open early. They're only having Hogwarts open early because it had come out of summer season in August, but they let us in early. Everything just worked in there. It was the staff were phenomenal all day. The only thing wrong with Universal is if you stand by the wrong drain, you get a pure whiff of poo.
And as people would have seen on Facebook or Twitter, you spent an awful lot of time near such drainage places on your
pooping
travels.
Around the world, pooping, yeah. And it's amazing how many people get the guess right where I was depositing my innards.
And sometimes we even got to see your fanny pack.
Yes.
Which is an added bonus.
Yeah.
The security at Universal, I thought people were going to be a bit dramatic and everything with some of the rides now, but it was flawless. It was all well, the queues are being adapted where they lead you away from the main queue now and extend you away. And then there's another group of staff, and you go through the metal detectors, and they scan you, and then away you go. It just was seamless. We got an exclusive behind the scenes tour of the Hogwarts Castle because Grandad had his ECG, so we got to walk around everywhere and go into this secret door that you didn't know was there, and up in this lift and across this corridor and down the next lift.
Wow.
Really enjoyed it.
Was there anything new? Because, Universal famously have been opening up an attraction every 9 months, it would seem. Was there anything new on this trip from last time, or
no, not from last year? No, but Kong, what we seen over the walls, Kong is huge. It is vast.
He is.
Yeah. Now, if he starts pooping around the world, you're going to have problems.
Yeah, you will smell it from the drainage system.
Especially from the top of the Empire State Building.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Because, I mean, that was always the one attraction. If I could go back on any form of attraction, even though most people tell me it was a bit pants, seeing that confrontation ride was what made me want to go to Florida all those years ago when I was a small child. Not seeing Mickey Mouse, as much as that was going to be fun, it was seeing Kong that close. So for that to come back in a different fashion, but a fashion nonetheless, I can't wait. And did you get to go on Disaster one last time, Craig? Did you?
No, we avoided it because it was poo last year. Half of it didn't work. I think the lorry didn't drop down last year, or it was something like that. It was something major.
Yeah, one of the things you'd really notice.
Yeah, but Jimmy Fallon experience, another screen-based ride at Universal. It'll be fabulous.
Well, it's going to be replaced by Fast and Furious, apparently.
Oh, is it Fast and Furious? It's not Jimmy Fallon.
No.
Is Twister going to survive then?
For now.
We didn't go and see Twister either.
No, it's understandable. It's understandable. Good. Well, I'm glad Universal exceeded expectations. But as an overall, Craig, you've been to Florida quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
How would you say this trip rated in comparison to previous years, and your favourite and least favourite while you were there?
Well, we went last year and it was just the 4 of us. We went this year and obviously there was 9 of us, and it's a totally different experience. You've got to really rein it in because you're in a group of 9. It takes 15 minutes for everyone to go to the toilet. When you have a toilet break, there was some times where having the grandparents with us worked, because you were able to dump the stuff on them and then go and ride whatever, the Tower of Terror or the Rock and Roller Coaster. They could have the kids. And then there was other times where it didn't work quite so much. When you're in the 14th hour in the park and they're on the knees. You've just got to change your expectations if there's a gang of you going. Because we didn't achieve an awful lot. We missed a lot of rides because we just had to go for the headliners, and then anything after that was a bonus. We did a lot of character dining. We did Chef Mickey's. We did Hollywood and Vine twice. We did it for breakfast, and then obviously there was no characters at the evening one. What else did we do? Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, and the buffets, all the food, you couldn't fault the food. It's expensive. We did Cinderella's Castle as well. We did the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for Eve and Grace, and Jack, he went and did the Pirates League thing with his mum, Carla. She got made up as a pirate. She was like a little slut pirate. She doesn't listen. But we get away with that. But in Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, our Eve's 11, so it was her last time, and so she was a bit upset going in. She was fine getting done over, but towards the end she told her fairy godmother that it was going to be her last visit, and for the big reveal he made a big fuss of her, and literally she started crying. The fairy godmother started crying. Then the fairy godmothers in the general area started crying. Then my wife started crying. The photo pass man started crying. I got a little something in my eye. I think a bit of pixie dust in my eye.
You got the bill and you started crying.
Yeah, I got the bill and I passed out. But they made such a fuss, and they He said, every time you come back in here, and we'll always give you some pixie dust and stuff like that. We'll charge you for it, but it was
charge you a premium,
yeah. So again, getting back to cast members, some of the experiences in there will stay with us for the rest of our lives. They were absolutely amazing, and some of the negative ones didn't ruin the holiday. It just sort of disappoints you.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So.
So basically, I think the moral is we need more Ashleys and more Caitlins and less Italians at Epcot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we going to do G dead quick? I know Paul's got to go back into his curfews over, isn't it, soon?
That's right, yeah. Gotta get
through this.
Back in my cage.
We got a bit of time, so I think we'll be all right. Just before we get on to G, which will quite right is the next letter, only because I've done this one myself. How did you find Cinderella's Castle dining, and would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. It's changed. We did breakfast this time. We have done an evening meal last year, and then before that we've done breakfast in the past, and it was always all you care to eat. Now it's a menu. So I had steak and eggs for my breakfast off the menu, but it's not all you care to eat anymore. So it's extremely expensive from what I could work out. It was approximately $60 each. But it's, again, if you go into it, that it's a once in a lifetime thing, and you've always got to treat every holiday there as if you're never going back, because you never know what's going to happen. In that respect, you're meeting the characters, you're meeting the princesses, you're getting good time with them. Ariel had the girls up pretending to be seahorses and stuff like that, and they do spend a good bit of time with you. So for that, it was worth it, yeah. And the food was lovely.
Good. I'm glad that's still a good experience.
Yeah. All the food, all the character dining was brilliant. And if you can, if you are going, consider everything. Consider spending the money and the extra money, and it will run into several $100 extra. But I've doing Slimming World like I am. Other slimming things are available. I was having 5 plates of food in them buffets. I was going up, and like the salmon is laid out. I was just picking the salmon up, and putting it on my plate with some broccoli. The food was of the highest quality, I found.
Well, unfortunately, character dining does not begin with J. So Craig is going to have to think of something else. But while we're waiting for Craig to think of another letter, or another thing to begin with the letter G, Mr. Dolan, would you like to kick us off?
Okay, I'm going to go for the obvious one, the biggie, the big white thing, the Grand Floridian.
Oh, gee, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Flagship resort.
Have you been lucky enough to stay there?
Never been there, never stayed there. But we've been there quite a few times. So we've eaten there in different places over the years. So we've done 1900 Park Fair, which is the character dining.
Yeah.
And the last time we were there, it was Mary Poppins Met You As You Went In, very British. And then it was kind of Alice in Wonderland and Friends. So you had the Mad Hatter was the best character by far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
We've eaten in the Grand Floridian Cafe, and to be fair, we had a bit of an iffy meal in there. I think we probably had the oldest server in the world. Right? I mean, by the time she got it to us on her Zimmer frame, the chips were cold. My meal was fine, but Kerry's meal wasn't amazing. We'd go back, but not in a hurry. And we were lucky enough to eat at Victoria and Albert's when we went there last year for a special wedding anniversary. And actually our kids paid for that, which was even better, made it taste even better.
Can you divulge what the bill was?
I think it was $125.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, when you consider, when you consider it's.
Oh, was that each?
It's each, yeah. It's each.
Oh, it's
so
still
it's like
not that bad.
£80 each.
No, I don't think so.
Right, but when you consider it's a whole evening's entertainment, I mean, we were in there for about 3 hours. And we visited the hotel first, so we had a walk around the hotel, and it was just great. It was a good experience. Wouldn't do it every time, but if you're a Disney fan and you like food, it's worth doing once for a special occasion. But the other thing I wanted to say about the Grand Floridian, this is my top tip here. Okay, so pin your ears back, folks. If you've had a hot and sweaty day in the Magic Kingdom, and you're leaving the Magic Kingdom, either heading back to your resort or heading to another park, get the monorail to one of the resorts, like the Grand Floridian or the Polynesian, and it's good to pick up a lunch there. They've all got counter service places in there. You can use your Disney dining plan, and you can just chill out, have a walk around. It's a great resort. Lots of interesting things to see. It's got a nice atmosphere. So it's a good place to just chill out in the middle of the day if you want a rest between theme parks. So that's my G.
Is there any dress code in there, or can you go in all sweaty and?
No, there isn't.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, there is in Victoria and Albert's. There is a dress code in there. You don't need to wear a tie, but you're supposed to wear a jacket and smart, just short trousers. And women, smart again dress or smart trousers. They've got some things that you can't wear, but that's not any different from any of the signature restaurants. You got to wear shoes and a shirt and not denim cut-offs. So yeah, I mean it's a little bit more formal, but the rest of the restaurants are just like any other Disney hotel, or any other Disney restaurant. And it's a nice resort to walk around.
Now, there's two things I wanted to, because I had that as my G as well, and actually so did Mrs. Branch. When I asked her about G's today, she said Grand Floridian.
Yep.
Two things that I found. Well, sorry, one that I found out and one that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I found out was in 1988, the Beach Boys filmed the video to Kokomo at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, right.
Which I still can't get my head around. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me at all looking at the building, but there you go. It's the Kokomo. And also that I think it was either last year or maybe the year before, they added an Alice in Wonderland themed water area.
Right, I think I remember hearing that, but I didn't see that. Yeah.
I've seen some pictures, and our friends are over there at the moment, and I think they took a few pictures of it as well to send back to us. So yeah, it's quite cool. But yeah, I think I've only done 1901 with the Carrots Breakfast there as well, and it's a lovely hotel. It was our first and only time we went in there, but I did feel, even though we weren't particularly scruffy or anything like that, I did feel there was a bit of an air. And the other thing I can compare it to, if anyone's ever gone to Disneyland Hotel in Paris, I found it a little bit more pretentious than that, and that's pretty pretentious walking around that.
Yeah, I mean it is a an expensive hotel, and the staff are all smart, and you got these guys that greet you as you walk in, and they're the whole thing is like a 1920s, I think, sort of, or Victorian, is it? Victorian, yeah. But they've got men dressed in like white +4s and little white caps and stuff like that. But
it's really, a AAA 4-diamond award-winning hotel, so he's going to have those things, isn't it? To be honest.
And a couple of other things to say about it. I mean, in terms of dining, it's got the most choices of the thing, because there's another 2 signature restaurants in there where you can do afternoon tea, which if you want that British experience when you're abroad and you can't get your gravy and stuff like that, that's the place to go.
Who doesn't have gravy with their high tea?
Yeah,
Mr. Lucas.
Okay, I am going to go with one of my favourite rides and must-dos The Great Movie Ride.
Oh yeah, good choice.
Fantastic, G.
Yeah. Now, we went on it this year, and is it TCM? Yeah?
TCM, yep.
Yeah. They've taken over. So you've got a fella with a wig, introduces as you walk through all the queue area. He's like the owner or the director of TCM or whatever. And then I don't remember this being in last year when we went, but it's all the cast member at the front doesn't talk anymore. It's audio.
That is a new addition, yeah.
Yeah. And so that did detract from it a little bit, because you didn't have that interaction with the cast member. The cast member's still there because he's got a vital role to play without giving anything away. But
yeah,
it has lost a little bit of its magic.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but on the whole, it was still as good as it always was. You've just now got this Hollywood intro for every area.
So no new movie clips then yet.
Yeah, there was new movie clips at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, Robin Williams had just passed away, and when Robin Williams come up on the screen with the Good Morning Vietnam, he basically got a standing ovation.
Right.
That's one thing that always sticks out in my mind. This year, it was all some of the same, some of the new. A bit more Disney, I thought. Star Wars had a bit more of a presence in there, and I think Frozen was in there now. But it's ripe, there's always that big debate, isn't it, of upgrading it or adding to it, and there's a couple of areas where they run out of money, basically. Mickey's PhilharMagic could be ripped out. I mean, what films, if you had to put one film each in there and take one film each out, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can answer that quite quickly. I would put in Tron, and I would probably remove the aliens bit, because it does scare me, and I think it's probably the only bit that kind of sticks out a little bit, like a sore thumb.
I'd agree with the aliens bit, because Sigourney Weaver is shocking.
Yep.
And I would put in Toy Story.
Okay.
As Pixar's breakthrough film, and it's revolutionised. So, Mr. D.
I'd probably take out that little Fantasia bit, because it's like nothing really in it. It's not what it was supposed to be, and then put in Harry Potter.
Yeah, that'll go down well.
There you go. Let's see what happens there.
Well, why not? Because they've got Marvel, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before I do my G, which unfortunately is my fallback G, wasn't the first one, obviously. Vicky Wells on Facebook said Gaston for her G, especially those brilliant videos of the Gaston doing the press-up competitions, and the little girl telling that he'll never win Belle over. Now she goes on to say, and I'm sure we've seen those videos, they're very good, but apparently the guy who is in the majority of those videos no longer works for the company, because people kept asking for him and it was getting too awkward. So I don't know if that's true or not. And
too good at your job.
Yeah, you don't get that very often, do you? So there you go, talking about good cast members. And Kevin Curtis Allen said Grand Floridian as well. Goofy, of course. How can we not say Goofy? And a Garden Grill. My one, my fallback one, can be worded one of two ways. So originally, this is how I looked it up. This is what I was looking up for. Was my G is G-Force, as in G-Force, the 2009 American 3D family science fiction fantasy adventure action comedy spy film. Apparently,
we went to see
about guinea pigs.
Yeah, cracking film.
Really?
Yeah,
I never
it
saw it.
always looked really shit to me, so that's why I never watched it.
You're not far wrong. Hello, everyone.
Hey, he's back.
Told you.
Hi, Dad.
He's in just in time for G's.
Yeah, he's going to hit his G spot.
Yeah, we got G's.
I heard G-Force, and I thought you were going down the G-Force records.
Well, that is exactly where I'm going to.
Oh, carry on.
So you're reading my mind.
I've butted in.
At the right time, though. At the right time. So G-Force, the film with the guinea pigs, cost $150 million to make.
Yeah.
I mean, what in the blue hell? It made back 292.
It's a good film.
Computer-generated guinea pigs, isn't it?
I might have to watch that then in that case, especially with the kids. But more importantly, is the fact that G-Force Records is the record label on one of my all-time favourite attractions, even though I don't like roller coasters, Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, awesome.
And which one do we prefer? Do we prefer the Paris one or the Studios version?
Florida one every time. Florida one every time. Oh, yeah.
The walkthrough and the setup to the Florida one. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last time I went on the one in Paris, well, the previous to last time I went on, it was a little bit bone shakery. But a couple of weeks ago, last time I was there, it didn't seem quite as rough.
But is it different? Is the actual ride different?
The track, the track is identical. The ride itself is identical, but the theming in Paris is backstage at a concert. Yeah. So it's all lighting rigs and stuff like that.
Right.
Whilst obviously,
I have ridden it, but I literally can't remember it. Is it Aerosmith again over there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's really short.
Avec Aerosmith.
Yeah. And they're stood, when you go in through the pre-show, instead of it being like the recording studio, they're stood in front of a model of the roller coaster, but it's really short. You don't get that little scene with the make it a super stretch and all of that.
Well, that's why, because in the Paris version, you're not riding a limousine, you're riding some kind of recording equipment. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, did you have a G, Mr. Butterface?
I did. Short and sweet. My G is golf ball. Not anything to do with the fact that there are Disney golf courses around all over the place.
Although
there are indeed. More to do with the fact that is the name everyone gives Spaceship Earth. It does not matter that you've been there 1,000 times and call it Spaceship Earth. It does not matter if you're some sort of mathematical genius and it's a polytetradodecahedronic shape or something. It is always and will always be the golf ball.
Except for us.
Really?
My youngest was the exception to the rule because she always called it apricot. She didn't recognise Epcot, and she always associated it with a big ball. Look, Dad, there's apricot.
There's the apricot.
Yeah.
Well, on that bombshell, I think it's time, gentlemen, please, last orders at the bar. So, we'll leave out the usual way of saying that if you want to find out more or contact us, please visit our website at www.DisAfterDark.com or email us at podcast@DisAfterDark.com.
I'm on Twitter at DisAfterDark, Facebook.com/DisAfterDark, and MiceChat.com.
And everything else. I can't wait to listen to this and edit it. Cheers, guys, for helming the show.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, but always more fun with four. So, I suppose we'll see you all back in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Dis After Dark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.